Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. I'm Sammy, your host. Today we're diving into Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes, first published in 1605 and 1615 in 2 parts. This iconic novel is a cornerstone of Western literature, blending comedy, tragedy, and social critique in the tale of a man who becomes a knight-errant in a world long past the age of chivalry. Let's dive into the key events and storylines, so you'll feel like you've read it cover to cover. Don Quixote begins with an aging Spanish nobleman named Alonso Quixano, who becomes obsessed with books of chivalry. He reads so many that he loses his grip on reality and decides to become a knight-errant himself, adopting the name Don Quixote de la Mancha. He dons an old suit of armor, renames his decrepit horse Rocinante, and sets out to revive chivalry and perform noble deeds, convinced that his adventures will bring him glory. Don Quixote recruits a simple farmer, Sancho Panza, to be his squire, promising him governorship of an island. Sancho, though skeptical, agrees and follows his master on his absurd quests. One of the most famous episodes occurs early on when Don Quixote mistakes windmills for giants and attempts to fight them, only to be knocked off his horse. This iconic scene exemplifies Don Quixote's tragicomic delusions and the stark contrast between his grandiose fantasies and the mundane reality. Throughout their travels, Don Quixote and Sancho encounter a series of misadventures that highlight the humor and pathos of the knight's misguided quest. Don Quixote's vision of the world is so distorted by his chivalric ideals that he often misinterprets ordinary people and events, leading to comical and sometimes dangerous situations. Despite this, he remains resolute in his mission, driven by a deep sense of honor and duty. One recurring theme is Don Quixote's love for Dulcinea del Toboso, a peasant woman he imagines to be a noble lady and the object of his courtly love. In reality, Dulcinea does not know Don Quixote, and her existence is more a product of his imagination than any real relationship. His devotion to her, however, fuels many of his quests and adds a layer of poignant idealism to his character. Sancho Panza, though initially a comic figure, grows in wisdom and complexity throughout the novel. His earthy pragmatism often contrasts with Don Quixote's lofty ideals, providing a counterbalance to his master's madness. Sancho's loyalty and common sense bring depth to his character and highlight the bond between the two men. In the second part of the novel, published 10 years after the first, Don Quixote and Sancho are more widely recognized due to the popularity of their previous adventures. This meta-narrative element allows Cervantes to explore themes of fame and the blurred line between fiction and reality. The second part delves deeper into the psychological aspects of the characters, examining the consequences of their previous exploits. As their adventures continue, Don Quixote and Sancho are subjected to various pranks and deceptions by those who have read about them. Despite the ridicule, Don Quixote remains steadfast in his chivalric ideals. However, the weight of his disillusionments begins to take a toll on him. In the final chapters, Don Quixote is defeated in a duel by the Knight of the White Moon, who is actually a friend in disguise trying to bring him back to reality. As a condition of his defeat, Don Quixote must abandon his knight-errant ways and return home. Broken and disillusioned, he falls ill. On his deathbed, Don Quixote regains his sanity and renounces his chivalric fantasies, recognizing the folly of his past actions. He dies as Alonso Quixano, a humble man, surrounded by his friends and family. Sancho Panza mourns his master's death, their adventures having forged an unbreakable bond between them. Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes is a rich and multi-layered narrative that explores the tension between idealism and reality, the power of literature and imagination, and the enduring human spirit. Its blend of humor, tragedy, and social commentary continues to resonate with readers, making it a timeless masterpiece of world literature. Thank you for tuning in to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. If you enjoyed this summary, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy reading!